Here's an ordinary chess set, but you know that here on YouTube, people like me aren't very big fans of keeping things ordinary and like to turn them into something extraordinary. And here's the classic beer pong style chess where whenever a piece is taken, someone takes a drink of beer, like a drunken style chess. Another cool variation on this would be a jello style chess set. What better variation of chess than to put in actual human beings as chess pieces, and they can make them into like a human pyramid or like a stack of humans to vary in size to get like music or something along those lines. There's an origami chest and you could do like balloon animals that like twist into each other to and blow air into the little flaps, make fart like noises, or like how make helium balloons to make them like floating pieces. There's a three-way chess set, and there's even four-way chess sets. And speaking of numbers, there should be a chess set that's just made out of bugs, which they have great numbers, which is why they're so have such strength. Or a chess set which is made out of creatures that are just made out of numbers, which battle each other through multiplication, subtraction, division, and addition.
Here's a three-dimensional chess set, which has a little bit of confusion to it. Or there should be, and there's four-dimensional chess sets, like that wireframe thing where it kind of shows like the space-time grid where space and time are interconnected, and thus when you move one piece through space, you're moving through time, and when you move through time, you're moving the position of those pieces. Speaking of dimensions, all the changes I've mentioned so far are talking about the changes in the third dimension or space. I'm going to get into changing things in the fifth dimension or information. Now here's an interesting chess variation called Peasant's Revolt, where white tries to move all his pawns to the other side while black tries to defend with his knights. It seems to be a relatively equal game to me. I have to put two chess masters against each other and see which one wins. That's an interesting experiment. We can have pieces in a 3D world, or we can have pieces on a surface area like this. Pieces got stuff on the outside, and pieces or stuff moves within the 3D space of the world to create a melted glass effect where light bends through it. Speaking of inside-outside stuff, the chess pieces have a porcupine spikes to defend themselves while moving through the 3D world. The cube does algorithms just like the pieces do to squirt out custard through a motion done by like, Jansen time machine. Now, here's a chess variation where each side only has 6 pieces and they move around in a circular type of ring, kind of like ice skating.
Okay, here's a chess type of game that I figured would go along well with this chess variations videos. And basically, the goal in this game is to defend against the pawns reaching the other side of the board with your knight that moves in an L shape, which is kind of awkward to maneuver it, but you should be able to do it relatively easily though, and so, like, get that knight to kick those pawns' ass. Yeah.
And just like there's reversals and opposites on games like Suicide Chess where each side tries to destroy themselves, there's also opposites in things like Pac-Man where in this game you're the gobbledygook things and you try to defeat Pac-Man rather than the opposite. And here I have Pac-Man trapped, and it's pretty much a stalemate. Alright, so the chess variations that I've shown so far have been changes in the 3D or spatial aspects of the game. So now, some aspects where the 5D aspects or information aspects are changed include atomic chess, where when one piece is killed, all the pieces in the surrounding 8 squares are killed. Or there's suicide chess, where when one piece kills another piece, that piece takes on the movement characteristics of the piece that it killed. There's bug house, where when there's 2 teams of 2, and when one player takes the piece of his opponent, he can give it to his friend. So it's kind of like a tag team thing. There's suicide chess, where each player tries to destroy themselves, and when a piece is in danger, their opponent is forced to take that piece, and
each player tries to destroy themselves pretty much. Some variations that I can think of are, well, if there be like some type of like blizzard or blightstorm when the pieces get hypnotized, it's like the pieces they create a whirlwind tornado effect on us to confuse us and hypnotize us. Or what if there was a game where one piece tried to cover every square of the game? Or some pieces like the bishop uses his head to scan every area and try to uncover the secrets of every little square out there, as well as reveal what the pieces are, because you don't know what they are. Or there's booby trap chess, where you have just booby traps in the way where the pieces fall into traps and get held prisoner. That can be like a Monopoly type of thing, like the timeout section in that game. Melted candle pieces where like the candles get melted and they form themselves into another piece. Or how about